There's one Canadian account that gives you a tax refund when you put money in and then lets you take it all out completely tax-free. Every other account makes you pick one or the other. This one gives you both. And if you're saving for a first home and you don't have it open, you're leaving real money on the table. I'm Toyin, a CPA and MBA with years of real client work behind me. I'm glad you're here. By the end of this video, you know the limits, who qualifies, and the carry forward trick most people miss, how it compares to the RRSP and the TFSA, and how to stack it with the home buyer's plan. If you've never heard the details, that's fair. This account is relatively new. It arrived in 2023, it has a clunky name, and nobody at the bank chased you to open one. Not knowing about it isn't being behind. It's not yet a full part of our financial culture. Take the RRSP's best feature. Your registered retirement savings plan gives you a deduction that lowers your tax bill today. Now, take the TFSA's best feature. The TFSA, your tax-free savings account, gives you money that comes out with zero tax. Put them on one account, pointed at a single target, your first home. Deduction on the way in, tax-free on the way out. That account is the FHSA, the First Home Savings Account. Here's my honest take, because the FHSA does get some fair criticism. $40,000 won't buy a house on its own. And if you're buying it in the next year or two, this really isn't your tool. Both of those are true. But it was never meant to be your whole down payment. It's the most tax-friendly place to grow part of it. The deduction hands you money back every year you put in, and if a home is a few years out, that's exactly when it shines. The real mistake isn't using it, it's expecting it to do everything or opening it too late to build the room. If you want one calm money idea every Sunday, I write the Sunday Money Letter. It's free, about 500 words, 1 point, a steady voice in your corner. Go to cpamoneymentor.com/moneyletter or click the link in the description. Here are the 2026 numbers. You can put in $8,000 a year, up to a lifetime maximum of $40,000. And every dollar is tax deductible the same way an RRSP contribution is. Let me make that real. Say you are at a middle income tax rate, around 30%. Put in the full $8,000 and about $2,400 of it comes straight back to you as a refund at tax time. Do that until you've maxed out $40,000 and you've collected roughly $12,000 in refunds just for saving towards a home. And that's before the account has grown $1. Here's the reason to open one early. Your room only starts building once you open the account, not when you turn 18, when you open the account. After that, unused room carries forward, but only one extra year's worth. So the most you can put in during a single year is $16,000. 8 from this year, 8 carried from last year. So open an FHSA account in 2026, put nothing in, and in 2027, you can contribute $16,000. The clock doesn't start until you open the door. So it's better you open the door even if you've got nothing to put in yet. One honest catch though, because that same clock also runs out. You get 15 years from the day you open it to actually use it for a home. So open it when the first home is somewhere on your horizon, even a few years out. What you don't want to do is open it a decade too early, sit on an empty account, and let the window close before you're ready. If a home is realistically within about 15 years, open it. If it's further off than that, wait. You qualify for an FHSA if you're 18 or older, or 19 in some provinces, a Canadian resident, a first-time home buyer. First time here means you haven't lived in a home you owned this year or in the previous 4 years. And two details trip people up. That counts as a home you owned anywhere in the world, not just Canada. And it counts as a home your spouse or partner owned that you lived in, even if your name was never on it. Two limits to know going in. The FHSA is a one-time account. Once you buy your first home and make that tax-free withdrawal, it closes for good. So you don't get another one down the road. And it has a shelf life. The 15 years I mentioned before from the day you open it. You have to use it within that period or the money has to move over into your RRSP. And here's the nice part. The eligibility conditions are only tested when you open the plan. So once it's open, you keep the benefits even as your life changes. If you're a parent or a grandparent, you can gift an adult child the money to open and fund one. There is no attribution, no tax coming back to you. This might be the account to tell your kids about. And if you're serious about a first home, picture having the fastest, most tax-smart path to your down payment mapped out for your exact situation. Which accounts to fill, in what order, and by when. That's the kind of thing I help people with. So instead of hoping you're doing it right, you know you are. And because I work with each client personally, I can only take on a handful at a time. So if this is something you want, it's worth reaching out sooner rather than later. The link is in the description. Here's the combo that does the real work. On the same home, you can use both FHSA and the RRSP home buyers plan. The FHSA never has to be paid back. The home buyers plan does. So fill the FHSA first, then add the home buyers plan on top for extra down payment. And there is no joint FHSA. Each person opens their own, which is exactly why a couple gets two accounts to stack. Let me put real numbers on it. On its own, a maxed out FHSA is $40,000. In Canada, that's the minimum down payment on a $650,000 home. Now, put two people together, each maxing an FHSA and each using the home buyers plan, and you're looking at around $200,000. On $1 million home, that's a full 20% down, which means you skip mortgage insurance completely. So, where does this sit next to the older accounts? In one breath, the RRSP gives you a deduction only. The TFSA gives you tax-free only. The FHSA gives you both, aimed at a home. And the question everyone asks, what if a home never happens? Or that 15-year window runs out first? You don't lose what you put in. You roll the whole FHSA straight into your RRSP. No RRSP room needed. And it keeps growing tax deferred. So the money you contributed never goes to waste. It just becomes retirement savings instead. There's even a quick move for someone about to buy. There's no minimum holding period. So you can open an FHSA, put in $8,000, take the deduction, and withdraw it tax-free days later towards your home. Once you've got the basics, there are a couple of moves people with good advice use to squeeze more out of this account. They're simple and they're worth knowing. The first one, almost nobody realizes you can do. You can split up when you contribute and when you claim the deduction. Putting the money in and taking the tax break do not have to be in the same year. So picture yourself early in your career or still in school earning very little. You can contribute now to get the money growing, but hold the deduction and claim it in a later year when your income and your tax bracket are higher. Here's why that matters. An $8,000 deduction claimed at the 20% tax rate hands you $1,600 back. The exact $8,000 deduction held and claimed in the 40% year hands you $3,200 back. Same contribution, double the refund, just by choosing the right year to use it. The second move ties back to the clock. Your room only builds once the account is open. So the savvy thing is to open it the moment a first home is even plausible and start banking room, even before you have money to put in. Opening the door early costs nothing, and it's the one thing you can't get back later. And a quick word on what to hold inside. If your home is still 5 or more years out, that's long-term money, so it can be invested for growth. If you're buying soon, keep it safe because you can't afford a dip right before you need the money. Match the risk to your timeline. There's one more move for high earners, and it's a little sneaky. Remember, the account is only tested for eligibility when you open it. So someone can open it, buy a home a couple of years later, never touch the FHSA, and keep contributing right up to the $40,000, all still tax deductible. If they don't end up needing it for the house, the whole thing rolls into their RRSP down the road. In effect, they've created $40,000 of extra tax deductible room that had almost nothing to do with buying a home. That's an advanced play, but it's a completely legitimate one. None of this is reserved for the wealthy. It's just knowing the account as a few layers and pulling the ones that fit your situation. So for its one job, a first home, the FHSA is simply better than either older account because it stops making you choose. And the downside is small. The only real mistake is opening it too late. Open the FHSA the day you even suspect a first home might be in your future. The room it builds is worth more than the money you don't yet have. So here's the step today. If a first home is even possible for you in the next 15 years, open an FHSA and start the clock. Even a small deposit does it. That's the whole idea, an account that wins at both ends. And since the FHSA borrows the best of the TFSA, if you want the full TFSA breakdown next, I'll put it right here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.